Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video today, I'm going to be talking about a day in the life of being a childcare entrepreneur. And it can get very complicated and very busy and very stressful. So I want to talk to you guys about a day in the life of being a childcare entrepreneur, or what that look like, what your tasks, what your responsibilities are, all that great good stuff. Because let's be honest, if somebody could have told me back at the 20-year-old version of Dom, this is what your life will never look like, this, and this, I feel like maybe I would have been more prepared. Maybe not. But let's dive into it, guys, because I want to talk all about it. Let's get it. Guys, so the first thing that I want to talk about, and the first disclaimer that I want to make, is that every childcare owner, director, whether you're the owner, director, whether you're just the owner, whether you're just the director, whatever the role is that you play, everybody's lifestyle and everybody's day-to-day operations are different. That's the first disclaimer that I want to make out there as we jump in and dive into this video. I'm just giving y'all your experience from my basis of being a childcare owner. Some of the background for me as to why mine may be different than other people's simply is because I consider myself a small-based childcare owner. So it's not just me, I also have a partner. My mom is also my partner. So having a partner and what my day-to-day might look like might look totally different than a childcare owner that doesn't have a partner. It's just two different things. So that's one of the first disclaimers that I want to make. The second disclaimer that I want to make before I jump into this video, guys, is you have to understand that what my lifestyle and what my day-to-day looked like when I was 21-year-old, fresh, new entrepreneur, thought that it was going to be all gravy, that day-to-day is not the same day-to-day for me now. Why? Because now I'm a serial entrepreneur, right? So aside from just being a childcare provider and owning a childcare center, we also have Educated Minds, which is our childcare consulting firm, where we love to help women start, grow, and organize their childcare business. But more importantly, I teach y'all systems. So everything about Educated Minds is all about systems, and it's always about understanding how to turn on that CEO hat, okay? So that's a disclaimer that I want to make before you begin to watch this video. Understand that everything may not be applicable to you, right? But some things may, because if you own a childcare program, you didn't solve a couple of these things and you deal with some of this stuff. Let's get into it. And so one of the first things that I'm going to jump into is I'm going to talk from the perspective of being a childcare director and or owner, and I'm in my business. I'm president of my business. I go to my business at least 4 days a week, give or take. Like I'm around, okay, as they say. Right? So that's one of the things that I'm going to give you guys to this perspective of me being physically hands-on in my business. So on average, when I ever first started our childcare business, and this was my location, I was responsible for this location, everything from the day morning we open the door to the time we close. So typically that like 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., most things that I was doing when I first opened up, not even just first opened up, but for the first 7 years, I didn't become an off-site owner or an owner that's not there every single day until about 9 years into my 13-year gap, my time I've been in the game, okay? So for the first 7 years, this was my average flow. I would go in the morning, I would open up. So I was the opener. I would go in, I would open up my facility, I would spray, get things clean, mop, because again, quality experience is all important. So making sure that when parents walk in, it smells clean, it's fresh and ready. I will welcome any of the staff that were coming into the facility, whether they were lead teacher, assistant teacher, manager, whatever their role was, or they might have been an opener, right? Because you always open with someone. So they would get started in their classrooms, begin to pull breakfast, begin to pull lunch. I would be the person that would go around the building, check the backyard, unlock all the doors, unlock everything, just make sure the building is ready. Because it's one thing to be closed, but when you open, you got to make sure all the exits is clear. I will also go in, we're opening at about 7, so around like 8 o'clock, 8:30, when people are actually coming in. If I was the teacher director, I was greeting parents, I was walking them and them children in, I was giving them breakfast, I was transitioning them from breakfast maybe to center play while we wait for everybody else to come in, okay? Once I got a teacher that came in and relieved me and I wasn't in the classroom, some of my other rules as the owner director is I would go around and I would make sure everybody had what they needed for the day, okay? So that's me going into classrooms, doing count. Okay, so I would do my first count. We started at 7. I would do my first count at 8. Once my first count got done at 8 and all the children separated, see, because in our building, we come together until majority of the kids come in. And then the teachers take them to their actual classrooms. That's a whole other video that I talk about in scheduling, and I'll try to make sure I attach that somewhere in this video here to edit it in. But you got to know your shifts, right? Are you a facility that all the classrooms are open as soon as you open up at 7 a.m.? Probably not, right? So that was one of the different things that I did there is just basically once everybody got in and got settled and I'm no longer the main person right there, that's when I would start moving around the building. And moving around the building, that's when I would, again, check all of the locks, check all of the doors. I would now go into the kitchen, right? What we having for lunch? What's on the menus? I might also check and look at the spray bottles or the bleach bottles to make sure at any given moment, an inspector can ring your bell. At any given moment, an inspector can ring your bell and you want to make sure that you're ready. You want to make sure, no, the classrooms are not going to be perfect. No, the building may not be up because you're doing stuff. You're moving, y'all learning, y'all playing, all of that great good stuff. So I would make sure that the building itself was ready and clean. And then once our 9:30 cutoff hit, that's when my schedule started to change. So my 9:30 cutoff, y'all might be like, what's a 9:30 cutoff? So we enforced a 9:30 cutoff in our childcare program just for the simple fact that I didn't want parents being able to just drop kids off at 11 and 12 or 10:30 or whatever was conducive for them. Why? Because one thing you will learn being a childcare director and being a childcare owner is schedules are so important. And they're not just important for you as the director and you as the owner, but they're important for your staff. You need routine. We need consistency. We can't be like, oh, at 9 o'clock, we're going to go to the bathroom. And then, at 11 o'clock, we might go outside. But 9 o'clock tomorrow, we might start out with story time. No, consistency is key. Okay. So after my 9:30 cutoff time, now all the kids are all in their places and everybody's kind of in their building. I go around and do what? I do another walkthrough. That's when I'm actually talking to teachers. What are we working on for today? What are you planning on teaching today? Even though we have lesson plans, creating that conversation with your teachers, seeing maybe they need help. Maybe they don't got supplies, right? So you want to make sure that they have what they need in the building and that they have what they need in their classrooms, because you may have a facility like me where everything, the storage room is not in their classrooms. I don't have a big, crazy state-of-the-art facility, right? We have a mid-sized childcare program. So one of my programs is licensed for 34. One of my programs is licensed for 20. That means that our buildings could be small. They could be narrow. We got certain places that we store stuff. So I go around checking with the teachers, see what it is that they need, see what it is that they're working on, and kind of make sure that the energy and the consistency and the flow is good. Because once I get into my office, I'm trying to get some work done, right? So the next thing, now I'm in my office, right? So I typically get in my office anywhere between like 10:30-ish, give or take. I try to go into the office, but one thing I do want to say, guys, and this is something that I talk about in our 6-week group coaching program. This is also something that I talk about in our monthly membership program in the CEO Circle. If you're looking for a community, make sure you check us out, okay? Over there at educatedminds.com. But one of the things I preach on is I used to be the director that would try to do every single thing that came in front of me. I wasn't productive. I was getting some stuff done, but I wasn't getting a lot of things done. So when I get into my office, I already know what I'm going to work on. This is not now that I'm sitting down and I'm figuring it out. No, that's a great skill set that you need to develop and know what's a priority, what's not a priority. Am I focusing on billing? Am I focusing on emails? Am I focused on returning voicemails? Am I focused on organizing paperwork? Am I following up with parents or potential clients that want us to schedule a tour? So much stuff to go on. So I talk about how to delegate what you do on Monday, Tuesday, and all that great good stuff. Just because even though things may not go according to plan, it's always great to know what your focus point is. Because if you're anybody like me, y'all know I get sidetracked real fast. I could be sitting at the desk like, oh, I'm about to do this, and then boom, the bell ring or the phone ring or a teacher is paging over the intercom, right? So you want to make sure you have a focus point on what you're going to work on. So from about 10:30 till about 11:30, just an hour is when I will go in and do my first task. I no longer do a crazy top 10 list. I work out on my top 3 or my top 5 based upon the type of day that I'm having. All right, so based on our count and based on what the staffing is for today, that's another thing that I want to say. You can have a day in your life prompt scheduled out. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And guess what? Somebody call out and you don't got no sub or you don't got no placement. Guess who went into that classroom? That's me. You are, okay? If you don't have a replacement. So if my account is good and if all of my staff is in, typically at 11:30, because I've learned to bring a kitchen person in, or also not just have a kitchen person. You don't need every role for every business. You got to know what roles you need for your business. I'm going to say it again. Do not get caught up in thinking you need an assistant for this, a bus driver for that, a kitchen person for this, a maintenance person for that. Some people can do dual roles, and it's a blessing. Like, some people can do dual roles and they know that that's the expectation. You guys are conversating and communicating about what those roles are. So if I'm fully staffed, I no longer make lunch. Like, I might make lunch if I don't have someone there to do it for me, or I don't have a maintenance person on deck. But that 11:30 until at least about 12:30 is I'm back. I'm still in the office. So that's when I'm finishing up, trying to get to that second task. Another thing that I've learned that's so important that I used to do backwards. Why? Because I have dyslexia and I'm always doing stuff backwards. But one of the greatest things I learned is I get my phone calls in early first. That is a rule that I learned from my mom. She taught me that super early. I would be like, nobody's returning my calls. Or I'm playing phone tag with people for 3, 4, 5, 6 days. She like, you doing it wrong. Get your phone calls in early. So when I would get in at 9 a.m., I'm calling back everybody that needs to be followed up with. I'm following up with parents, leaving voicemails, okay? I don't know what this new day and age that people don't leave voicemails, but I'm following up. I'm leaving voicemails. I'm sending emails, because by the time they get back to me, I might be relieving lunches. I might be doing other things, and now I'm not available in the classroom, right? So now that I'm in the office and now that I've worked at 10:30 to 12:30, give or take, we all know what time is it. It's time to relieve breaks. It's time to relieve your staff for their lunches and rotate and all that great good stuff. So from about 12:30 to 2:30, I'm either relieving lunches, or I got a brand new hack for how to relieve lunches, guys. So I'm either relieving lunches, or I'm allowing people to go to lunch, or doing any PTO time, and or doing any work out of the classroom. So that's the thing that you learn as you grow in the accreditation space. Teachers need time to work on lesson plans away from the children, okay? That's always a hard one to fix. I was like, how am I going to fit that in? But it's always a way to figure it out, okay? So I'm typically relieving lunches, or I'm doing things around the building, or meeting with staff, or having meetings, or joining in Zoom calls, or doing trainings, any of that great good stuff in between at 12:30 to 2:30. After the 2:30 marker, once everybody's relieved, one of the biggest mistakes that I used to make, guys, I never would take a break myself. Yes, I never would take a break myself. I would be like, oh, it's already 2:30. I can make it to 5. No, don't do that. Okay. Figure out a way how, even if you take a walk around the block, a drive to Starbucks, just something, get your 15 minutes, at least 30 minutes out the building. You need a minute to debrief. Okay. That's one of the biggest things that I would say is I would take my own lunch for 30 minutes. And then now we know we're bringing in all of our school age kids. It's almost about to be 3 o'clock. So then I'm relieving people to either leave. That was the openers to come in. We're either doing transportation to go pick those children up and bring them back to the childcare facility. And now we go into the afternoon shift. So I always love to be one of those providers. I love to start early because I don't want to close. Like, if I'm opening, I don't want to open and close. Yes, there's been times that I've had to open and close, but I'm the person, okay, it's 3:30, it's 4 o'clock. I'm leaving at 4. Okay, that would be my schedule. But it's times where I couldn't leave at 4. If I wasn't leaving at 4, I'm still bringing somebody in so that they can do the after school program. They can help with the homework. They can do the board games, those simple things. So that's why scheduling is another big one when it comes to, figuring out what your day in life is going to look like, because you got to know what type of person you are. And you also got to know what roles and responsibilities you need for your team to have in order to have a well-oiled machine. All right, guys. So as I'm kind of closing my day out, one of the biggest things I do before I leave, or I close my laptop, or I'm done with the day, what did I not finish and what did I accomplish? Accountability. It's not just for your staff, it's for you too. Because if you don't hold yourself accountable, you're going to be on the same task. You're going to be doing the same phone calls. And do not say oh, I never have time because I'm always in the classroom. Oh, I just can't figure it out. I can't seem to work it out. No, the reason why you can't seem to figure it out and work it out is because you have no list. You have no consistency. You're not doing any brain dumps. You have to know what you're doing already so you can be effective, so you can be productive. And know what are your office hours. There's plenty of times I can't remember. It was almost about 2 weeks ago. I was like, dang, I haven't been working in my center on a Saturday in almost 3-4 years. And it felt so good. I did it because I wanted to do it, not because I had to do it. And I was in there like, dang, I haven't been in here. I remember the years that I would come in on Saturday because now we're trying to do this, or now we're trying to expand that, or now I got to do paperwork and I can't be interrupted. Like, I was in grind hustle mode for 7-8 years straight, y'all. Okay. But it's paid off. However, I just say all that to say that make sure that you are doing your time correctly, but more importantly, understand that in order to operate a business, you have to have systems. In order to grow your business, you cannot be a solopreneur. You got to learn how to take yourself out that classroom. You got to learn how to delegate and teach others, because the biggest mistake I made is thinking that, oh, only I can do circle time right. Only I can greet the parents. Only I can do it because I know what's best. That is going to stunt your growth as being a childcare entrepreneur. So if you like this video and more where they came from, make sure that you comment down below and let me know what are some things that you do on a day-to-day in your childcare business to keep your well-oiled machine running. Until next time.